Now, I want to talk to you about your elections. You may have elections going on. Texas, I know, has elections going on right now through May 2nd. Election day is Saturday, May 6th. But these are the ones where they get you because they're very organized. And some of these elections, many of them school board elections, they can be won by 3 votes because 7 people have voted. Okay? Nobody goes out and votes. You need to call your friends and organize your neighborhood. Literally, if you put 10 people in a car, you could be the difference on a winning and losing election in an election like what's happening right now. I want to introduce you to Stephanie Elad. She is, and now don't hold this against her, okay? Yes, she's a California native, but she got to Texas as soon as she could. Stephanie, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah. So you moved from California. You moved to Frisco, which is a really nice part of North Texas, and it has great schools. And you got into the schools, and then you started paying attention to what was being said because of COVID. And what happened?
Right. Well, the first few years were great. We've been here 10 years. And then I started to notice some things, even before COVID, but then after COVID, definitely. And so I went to a school board meeting just about 2 years ago, actually, and I just did not like what I saw at all. I felt like the parents who had taken time to be there were very disrespected. In fact, the school board president at the time said, "This is our meeting," meaning theirs and not ours. And it just didn't sit right with me. So to make a very long story short, I ended up running for school board last year, and I won. So I have been a school board member for about a year now.
And you found out, and we have the tape, we're going to play it here in a second. You found out that other members of the school board were meeting without you to try to figure out how to pretty much silence you.
Yes, I did find that out recently.
And, well, let's play. Do you want to set this audio up?
Well, yeah, from what I understand, I can, sure. So what happened last fall was that myself and another trustee put an item on the agenda related to bathroom policy. And so that it took a while, and now I know why it took a while. Once you hear what you're about to play, it'll probably make more sense. But it took a while, and I didn't really think that much about the fact that it took a while, even though we have procedures as part of the board in terms of how long things should take before they get on an agenda when trustees request it. But anyways, apparently there was some constituents of our community who were angry about the policy. So our 3 board officers met with them to address their concerns. And they were concerned that we had just passed a policy saying, you know, boys use boys' restrooms, girls use girls' restrooms. They were upset about that. And so this audio was the 3 board officers kind of responding to those concerns.
Now listen to this. Go ahead.
I am so tired of having, because every time it's on a board meeting, every time it's on an agenda, the entire crowd now can come and speak about how terrible they think our transgender students are.
Stop for a second. This woman is saying, I am so sick and tired of it. Every time we talk about bathrooms, then the entire hate crowd comes in and we have to listen to how much they hate it. Go ahead.
I mean, Marvin and Stephanie are going to keep on.
But every time
they're going to ruin every meeting this year.
Every meeting.
Yes. And I have mechanisms in place that I can push, and I can use our subcommittee structure. And they wanted to vote on this in July. Mm-hmm. It's November. That's how long I've been able to push this out. And so, like, I have mechanisms by which I can do that. And I can also put it on any agenda. They want it on the regular board meetings because it's a show. If they ask for anything transgender policy going forward, it will be on a special meeting in the middle of the day that no one goes to. And the only way we can combat what they're doing is to make sure our board stays in the majority of good guys. That's all we can do. Because the state,
but if they change the state law,
they won't. They will try, but they have never been successful in passing a bathroom policy at the state level.
Because we need to be in the audience listening to what their narrative is, so that we have a defense mechanism.
That is incredible. In case you need a recap, some of the things discussed there was we're tired of the people coming to the meetings and wrecking the meetings. And Stephanie and her fellow board member, they keep coming and they're going to wreck all of these meetings. So then the next one says, well, I can keep it off the agenda. They wanted to do this in July. It's now November. And I have mechanisms that will keep it off the agenda. And the other one says, and if they want to put it on the agenda, we can put it on in the day so nobody comes and we won't have to deal with all of that. What was the last thing in there? There was much. We have to make sure that the good guys remain in control of the board. The question is, who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? When you heard this, Stephanie, what did you think?
I mean, I was shocked. I really was, because, I understand that there's a divide within the board and that, the existing board members didn't want me on it. I certainly understand that. That was made very clear in last year's election. But, I was surprised that anyone went to this level to do this. And it was very concerning to me to call, to characterize the parents as being a hate crowd. These are parents who came and spent their time and spoke, in most cases, pretty eloquently about their concern about this bathroom practice that the district had, and quite honestly is still practicing. So, they're allowed to come and say that, and that doesn't make them a hate crowd. They were concerned. There were fathers coming concerned about their daughters. There was a mom who came who her son had been impacted by this whole issue of having a biological girl in the boys' restroom. And then, when this mother complained to the school about that, they said, well, your son can use the nurse's restroom if he's uncomfortable. And she came and spoke. That's not a hater. That's just, someone who disagrees. And one of the things that concerns me the most about this whole environment that we live in, especially as it relates to school board elections, is if you don't agree with the establishment, then you're a
dangerous
hate crowd member, right? And you're anti-public education. It's like, it's so ridiculous. It's so intellectually dishonest. It's like, we can disagree, and that's okay. But this name calling and this rhetoric it's escalated in Frisco this year because of the board election, and it's really sad to see.
So, first of all, are there people that you've talked to? You're getting some other people like you on that are running now for the board?
There are two people that I am supporting in this election. I sort of characterize it as establishment candidates versus independent voices. That's how I characterize it. Mm-hmm. And so there are, I've supported Reed Bond and Susan Kershaw. We have 2 seats up for election this year, and I have publicly endorsed and supported them.
Are they running are they Republicans or Democrats or independents?
They are. They're conservative.
Okay.
They are. And they've gotten all the endorsements from all the conservative groups and a lot of the Republican politicians. But because they're nonpartisan races, it doesn't have any kind of party affiliation on the ballot.
Right. And how are there any, because they hide. We're open with our view. Look, if you want bathrooms to be shared by, both sexes or all 99, I'm not the candidate for you. They're not open and honest about it. So how do you know that you're standing with somebody that is good?
Well, you just ask questions, and I think a lot of these grassroots organizations do the vetting. And so that's what I tell people is go look at their questionnaires, go look at who they're endorsing, and you can see some of that. There's also forums that have been online. In fact, I was interested to find out that the Frisco Chamber of Commerce, when they did their forum, that's kind of the biggest forum that we have here. They asked, do you support getting out of the Texas Association of School Boards or not? Because another district recently did. And I thought, well, that's a question.
That's a good one.
And people said yes or no, right?
Yeah.
And so you could see where people fell. The other thing I'll say, just to kind of get back to the video for a quick second, is that one of our state representatives did request that the TEA, the Texas Education Agency, do an investigation into this to see if there was any kind of wrongdoing. And so it is my understanding that that investigation has occurred. So there's been quite a bit of backlash to it, including from several of our elected officials who've gotten involved and are trying to do something to just stop this stuff.
So the Texas Association of School Boards, you know, we know about the school board associations nationally, and the Texas teachers unions. They were instrumental in killing school choice here in Texas, which is incredible to me. We have so many spineless Republicans. What role do those guys play in school boards and races like this?
So the Texas Association of School Boards, all trustees become a member once they get sworn in, if your district is a member of that organization. And all districts in Texas, except for one, are, and that would be Carroll ISD in Southlake, who recently just voted to get out of the Texas Association of School Boards. So they are in a process of exiting.
Good.
But basically, they provide training for trustees. They provide legal and others as well, employees, things like that. They also provide legal services for districts and insurance services and things like that.
But they're on the wrong. They're on the wrong side, are they not? Are they not also pushing? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've seen them push quite a bit of progressive ideology. I was not a fan of that organization when I was running because I had heard about this concept called Team of 8.
Yeah.
And that is basically where you have 7 trustees and a superintendent and you're supposed to be a team. And I thought, well, that just seemed counterintuitive to me on the face of it, because I thought, well, aren't the trustees supposed to be there to, you know, oversee the district? And
Correct.
Isn't the superintendent supposed to report to the board? And isn't the board supposed to be 7 independent voices trying to make decisions for the community? So the whole Team of 8 concept, I ran a platform kind of against that. In fact, I think I've specifically said I will not be Team of 8. I will be an independent voice.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of my thoughts before I got on. And then, you know, when I got on the board, I had the chance last fall to go to a convention that was put on by the Texas Association of School Boards, and they brought in ACLU attorneys to talk to the trustees about some of these controversial issues. And I was shocked. I mean, it's one thing to present both sides of an issue, but I didn't see any Heritage Foundation speakers or anything like that.
Right. Exactly
I
right.
I saw the ACLU, and
right.
I was quite honestly horrified, because it was, you know, you have to allow pornographic books in libraries. Just make sure they're age appropriate, which meant to me, I guess high school's okay, but maybe some books aren't okay for elementary school. But they basically told us there's no book, you know, that you should take out of the library. And some of these books are so explicit. And then they also, you know, said, you know, boys should be in girls' locker rooms if that's what they want. And I mean, I heard them say it, and I couldn't get my mind around the fact that that's what they were doing. And so there's a lot of that stuff that goes on in the conventions, but even just a lot of the rhetoric from, you know, this organization. They basically said that when you become a trustee, you serve the district and not the voters. And I thought, well, that's, you know, what the heck is that? So I have not been a fan of this organization.
Stephanie, thank you. You are running again already?
No, I am not running.
You're not running. Okay, good.
No.
Yeah. I didn't think so, but
no.
Yeah.
I have a 3-year term, so I'll be in until 2025 at least.
Okay.
But I'm supporting Reed Bond and Susan Kershaw.
Okay.
To be independent voices for Frisco ISD.
I just wanted to talk to you. Thank you, Stephanie. I just wanted to talk to you for the one reason that these are the elections that count. They will organize in these. The average American doesn't even go. And literally, they can be won by 1 vote, 6 votes. You can change everything if you just grab 5 people, put them in your car, go and vote. Do your homework. But if you have these elections going now locally, you've got to vote.